Hello, friends and patrons of Theatre Erindale. Welcome back to the third episode of Jigging with the Fools, where we get to know the incoming fourth years, better known as the Jigging Fools. I'm your host, Sophia.
And I'm Emma.
And this week we are joined by Cameron Helmkay, Senzenina De Freitas, and Jasmine Jenkinson. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on our show this week. Um, Getting started. Can you guys introduce yourselves? Names, pronouns, anything you want to share? How you guys are doing today to our lovely audience?
Hi, my name is Cameron. I go by she, her pronouns, and I'm doing great today. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Jenkinson. My pronouns are she, her, and I am also doing great. It's a beautiful day.
Heyo, I'm Senzenina. I use any pronouns, and I'm chilling. I'm vibing.
We're just gonna jump right into it. My first question for you guys. It's summer. By the time this gets posted, it's mid-July. What have you been up to this summer? Do you have any summer plans that you're looking forward to? Have you done anything cool already that you'd like to share? Give us some summer vibes, my friends.
So this past summer, you know that little presentation or workshop of the role of Shaw, where Travis came to us at UTM. Um, so it's opening tomorrow, which is amazing. But we had another invited dress rehearsal not too long ago that Zoe and Steven and I got to participate in. It was so much fun. It's like a cross between like um D&D role play kind of game with the characters of Shaw and Bernard Shaw and his texts and his plays that he's written, with a different like kind of plot that Travis has written, and he's done several different like versions of that plot as well. And so we got to experience a little bit at the repertory theater course, the Shaw course. And then yeah, and then he came back, which we all experienced or got the chance to experience, which I think is lots of fun. Yeah.
Who would like to go next?
I can go next. Okay, moving and grooving this summer, as per usual. Right now, well, I guess it'll be in the past tense when you post this, but I'm in a show. It's a new musical called Two Left Feet with Thaumatrope Theatre Company downtown. So that performs at the end of June. So I'm in the midst of rehearsals right now. I'm assuming it'll go well. It's been fun so far. It's fun to work on a new musical and get to meet new people. And then for July and August, I'm teaching music, dance, and drama at Randolph College with their summer camp youth academy. So I'm really excited about that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to work with kids and teach them about the arts. Summer camp was how I kind of got into the performing arts. And so I'm really excited to get to pay it forward and teach people what I'm passionate about and watch them make friends. Yeah, that's my summer.
Now, you were in a musical. Do you think that this has any sort of influence on your own practices, maybe with writing musicals? Because I know you have a little bit of experience with that.
I do, kind of. Yeah. I even though TDS is an acting program, I'm very lucky that we still get like voice training and we still get dance training, but also I've done a lot of it outside of school and I like to write music as well. So this musical I'm performing in, but I also have experience with new work in terms of writing musicals. Sophia was in one we just did for Beck Festival this past year. So that was cool. Full TDS production of like live band and singers and dancers and actors and getting to put all that together. So yeah, I definitely love working in musical theater as well as acting, whether that's like writing or creating or playing instruments or getting to perform like the show I'm in right now.
Honestly, my summer is mostly just, working, saving up for the next year of school.
That's so
Um,
real.
yeah, like, we're practical out here. But no, it's been a lot of fun. I've also been seeing a lot of shows. On July 6th, which will be past by the time this is posted, I'm going to be working as a performer at the Creative Minds exhibition. It's a exhibition run by some friends of mine that I grew up with. They make movies and are photographers and do that kind of stuff. And so this is the second annual one, and they invite like a whole bunch of local artists to set up booths, to sell their stuff, to set up installations. I think there's going to be like a VR experience there this year. And they have like a fashion show. They have musicians perform. They have spoken word. Yeah, and it's just this awesome thing of giving a space to artists to show their work, sell their work. Yeah, and so I'll be performing there as a dancer this year. I'm going to make a little movement piece, dance piece thing to some spoken word that I've written. So I'm going to record the spoken word, make a little bit of soundscape with it, and then it's like a series of 3 poems. I call them the Hi series. And it's just different situations I've found myself saying hi where it seems inappropriate, and just kind of exploring the emotional thing that's going on there when I don't know what to say and I just say hi. And I'm gonna do some dance to it, and I think it'll be really cool, and I think it'll be really fun. So I'm very excited for that, especially because the event was awesome last year, and there's so many like cool artists there, and even just the opportunity to see my friends again is really awesome. So I'm really glad to be collaborating with them on this.
I know we're going to get into the devised later, but your year is so incredibly talented. You're all such multidisciplinary artists. Like there's so many like singers and dancers and everything. Like most of y'all are triple threats, and it's crazy. It's so exciting.
On the topic of devised theater, one of the major projects that you guys do in third year, which you have just completed, is the Devised Project. Can you guys tell us a little bit about favorite memories you have working on the Devised Project, some challenges you encountered? How is working on a project that is devised different from a project where you're given a text and you rehearse it? Anything really you want to share related to the Devised Project?
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time in the Devised Project. I think I learned a lot about myself and about work ethic and how to work with other people as well. I think learning how to do something that fuels us and makes us happy, but also does entertain the rest of the people was really important, and finding the balance of that. My favorite memories were simply when everyone was getting at that special kind of tired, when everyone was a little kooky, just a little off, because I feel like that's when we made the most like incredible stuff. And when like a lot of that stuff went into the play of like the kookiness of the what is it called? The escargot song. Like we were all at a certain point just very and I think that worked really well for us. So I think just any time when we were like that special kind of tired was the best time.
I remember seeing you guys like in Deerfield Hall, like a week or two from opening, and you guys were like on the couches. Here are sock puppets. I'm not quite sure what I'm witnessing, but I am seeing a group of 20-year-olds with sock puppets, and we're singing and giggling. And I was like, so true, I'm happy for them. And then the performance was fantastic. So yeah. Would you mind telling us a little bit about what the Devised Project is, like what Devised Theater is as well? Because you went first, so you're brave.
Okay. Devise is a little bit of, we're not really given any text or anything. It's just everything is what we made. There was a little bit of a prompt, like a little bit of a boost, but really it expanded far beyond that. So the first 2 weeks of it was, I believe it was 2 weeks. It was just play. So we just did fun games. It might have been 1 week. Yeah. Yeah, 1 week where we just played games and messed around, and Rachel was trying to figure out like what kind of vibe we were giving. And then she gave us prompts of what does it mean to be a good person? Are these attributes like necessary to be a good person? And then the kind of like framing around a medieval like mask theater. And then that was kind of it. After that, it was kind of just go figure out your own thing. Rachel obviously gave us a little bit of guidance to make it like, and with like some time limits and things like that. So that way it was more like concise and made sense and it wasn't too crazy. But for the most part, we had complete free reign.
Yeah. Devised is basically just like group creation, group theater creation. And I'm really glad you asked us this question because listen, Devised gets mixed reviews from the participants. It's a lot of hours a week. You are there every single day. Or it feels like every single day. You are with the same group of people. It's very, very small the whole time. So it can be very taxing and can be a lot of work. However, me personally, I'm the number one Devised fan in the entire world. That was like best 5 weeks ever. I had so much fun. I love talking about Devised. Our director, Rachel Blair, angel from heaven above, love her. She was just like so encouraging and so supportive, and at least for me, really made me feel confident in my ability to create, because it is very daunting to, I mean, the nature of our program is we're making things all the time in class to show each other, but to have to do it for an audience who is paying is a little frightening. However, she was so encouraging and wonderful and supportive of all our ideas, and really, really encouraged us to like bring joy into the process and to play and not be afraid to kind of be silly, make jokes, like laugh your way through it. Which is something that I love and has totally changed not just my outlook on devised theater in general, but like my outlook on how all theater can and maybe should be made a little bit. Yeah, I thought it was so fun. It was so fun to get to create. We got to put a lot of ourselves into the piece. So like you were saying, there were so many instruments, so many different musicians. We had dancing, we had singing, we had acting, we had puppetry, we had clowning. Like it was truly such a magical experience, in my opinion, and I really enjoyed it. And I hope I get to do devised theater more, because if Theatre Erindale hadn't introduced it to me, I don't think I would have known what it was. And what a sad world that would be if devised theater didn't exist and if I didn't know about it. I loved it.
For you, how is it different working on a piece where you're given a text versus a piece that you're working on from the ground up?
I think when you're given text, the first thing you start with is the text, because that's all you have to go on. When you're making your own theater, at least for me, the text kind of comes last. Like you start with the feeling and the emotion and like the moments that you want to have, or maybe you start with like a movement that like transitions into something else, and then you play with like repeating different words, or you improv a scene and then you improv something totally different, and the words kind of don't matter, or the words matter but the script doesn't actually matter until the very end, because it's not about the words, it's about the story that you want to share with the audience, and it's about the feelings you want to evoke. And so it's very daunting but very freeing to kind of not have that structure there, and to just play off each other and trust your impulses and trust your group, to kind of find your way there together, even though it's not necessarily like facting or like picking out moments in a script that you want to highlight. Yeah, it's a very roundabout way to get there, but it's super rewarding.
Yeah, no, Devised was so much fun. I think one of my favorite things about it, I 100% second everything Cameron and Jasmine said, and second that Rachel Blair was a delight to work with. She's so lovely, she's so understanding, she's so encouraging. She's there to, she checks in on you and makes sure you're okay during the process, but she also like pushes you to go further with it. And she does such a great balance of the two. Yeah, she's just a delight to work with. And she did a really good job with mediating between groups, between a class of 24 students who needed to make one script together, 24 brains and 24 ideas trying to come together. And she
24
did
fools.
24 fools who did a little jig in the middle while singing in French. No, she was such an amazing guide, and she worked with us so well, and we're so grateful to her. Because that was something I think a lot of us were nervous going into, was we are a big group. And that's going to be a lot of ideas to try and give form and manifest into a full show. and working with her and working with our incredible stage manager, Neha, as well. It went really well. It was fun. It was challenging and exhausting. And we made an awesome show that was full of joy, and people walked out feeling happy and thinking about the goodness in life. And yeah, it was such a gift. And I think something I really love about it was that first week of like playing and just trying different things, seeing how we work together, how we can create this thing. Our class like tended towards like really weird dark theater and like weird things where it's like, oh, they're a murderer and these are all the people they've killed and all this stuff, and then we get our actual theme and it's like tales of goodness, and suddenly people are like pirates learning how to share and flight attendants throwing babies out of airplanes accidentally. Yours truly. But no, it's just so fun, and it was so silly, and it was so joyful, and I'm so glad that the end product reflected that and gave that to the audience as well.
I can confirm it was very joyful as an audience member. It was so much fun. I find the program, shout out TDS, has a lot of classes that you wouldn't find in a lot of other places. Like I'm coming to mind is Zone of Silence or anything like that. That sort of changed the way that you look and approach at all other kinds of theater. Do you think there's like a way that these like classes sort of influence the rest of your year or your future career, or maybe next year?
I would love to keep going for this one if I may. There is something valuable in doing those things, especially because now is our training, now is our time to try things and find out what works for us. Whether you enjoy a certain type of creation or not, and a certain type of performance or expression or not, I think it's so valuable to get the experience doing it, because inevitably there are skills from it that are going to influence the rest of your work in a positive way. Even if you don't work in devised theater, the attention to everyone's favorite word, specificity, the attention to what is happening, why are you doing this, where are you going next, like every little detail that makes devised work, that is directly translatable into starting from a script, into working on a play that already exists. But it just highlights the importance of that in this different context. And I genuinely think even if people aren't specifically pursuing devised theater, all those little skills, all those little nuggets of wisdom and artistic wisdom, if you will inevitably influence the way they work and the way they approach work for the rest of their lives.
I agree with everything Sense just said. Absolutely. Same brain right there. I also want to add on that I think it extends to not just performance as well. I feel like TDS, part of the challenge, but also part of the joy and learning of it is I feel like it equips you to do so many different roles, whether you want to or not. Like, yes, there are playwriting classes. Yes, we will have our directing class in fourth year. But even just like through Devised and through even just like preparing our own scenes and monologues and different pieces for class, you have a chance at being your own director. You have a chance at being a writer. Maybe with the nature of like the U of T side of things, you're kind of like being a dramaturg or learning about it. And so not only has it opened up, oh, I could do classical performance, I could do like contemporary realism, I could make a puppet show. You're also learning, oh, wait, I know how to act, but I also know how to direct, and I could write if I wanted to, and maybe I'll stage manage. And hey, I did tech in first year, like maybe I could try that out. Just like this program is really great at kind of exposing you to everything, whether you want to be exposed to it or not, and just like opening so many little doors that you can choose to follow or go down.
That is so real. I want to be a teacher after I finish university, and like even now, like I teach drama classes and such, and I'm very like I care a lot about youth theater, and I'm like people are like, oh, like I don't want to put my kid in theater because like they don't really care about theater. Theater's not the point. The theater is the end goal. Like the end goal is a performance, but theater and like arts and anything creative is so important, especially for young people, because there are so many skills that lie there that kind of get locked away when you don't actively participate in those activities and you don't like develop those skills. Oh, so good. So good. Okay, moving on to our next question. This question is kind of interesting. My question is, how do you get into character? And then, because we're talking about devised, first part of the question is, how do you get into character? And second part is, how do you adapt that for pieces like devised, where, or even just pieces where you're playing multiple tracks? How is it different to get into one character than it is to get into like a show energy and know that you have many, many characters to perform? What are our methods, guys? Do share.
For me, I take off my jewelry. It's something simple of like making like I know some of us still paint the room or draw a metaphorical line on the ground and step over it. For me, taking off my jewelry just is a physical reminder of like, this is not Cameron anymore. This is whoever. So I do that. But to get into the show energy, I think we did a lot of huddles, and lots of like, I love you guys and hugs and things like that, and just all around love. One thing that someone said about our Devised show was that, yeah, there was plot lines and things like that, but all around it just felt like a general love letter to our year and our experiences and how we've grown together. And so I felt like I didn't really have to, even though some of us were playing like caricatures and things like that, that we didn't really have to venture too far because it's a part of us, and it's not like it was such an intense thing to like reach down. It's a part that we love and want to share and experience with others. It's a part of us that we've grown with and love playing with. And I think, honestly, I think it was just like animal class all over again. Everyone got to have fun and do whatever they wanted and be silly. And we didn't really have to reach far for that because I think all of us are like just raring to go for like anything that has to do with silly, goofy, jigging fool times. Yeah, so I don't think we had to venture too far, at least for me. But for me, getting into character is a lot of breathing, and then also the physical, like taking off. I'm acknowledging that I'm no longer Cameron in this situation, and I listen to music and things like that. I listen to a lot of ambiance music. So if I wanted to like say, because I did Midsummer Night's Dream for Shakespeare class. So getting ready for that, I just listened to like, I don't know, fairy core ambiance music where you like hear a river in the background and I don't know, maybe a deer somewhere. And I was like, oh, I'm in the forest now. And that, I don't know, helped me. But yeah, those kinds of things help a lot.
Yeah, for me, honestly, getting into character is less about me becoming the character and more me just like getting into my body and then getting in the right headspace. I'm someone who's very prone to getting nervous before performances, and so what I found works for me is like the closer like the closer to a routine that I can get to that I do for every show, the better. So I always start with something physical, like heart rate up, jumping jacks, running. If I don't like work out earlier the day, then I'll just like run on the spot in the dressing room. And then always like a plank or something, or like some wall sits, just to like engage my muscles and kind of get them tired. That's something our movement coach Melinda Little helped me with a lot, who I love, Melinda Little. She helped me a lot in first semester when we were doing Caesar. I was playing Mark Antony. Most of my warm-up was just like getting my body physically tired almost, or ready to work. And then then I go into vocal warm-up. I'm very passionate about vocal warm-ups, so a lot of like just like warming everything up, and then once I'm warm I can worry about character. So if I am playing a character like Mark Antony, it's like definitely AirPods in, character playlist is going, and I kind of get into my character's body by like walking like them and just like kind of building their body from my feet up, which is weird. I don't know if this is translating over Zoom, but kind of just getting into their body and walking around like them. For something like Devised, where I was playing multiple characters, it was more just like I forget what playlist I had going, but just like music that I liked getting warm. And then actually what got me into character for Devised was I had two different songs in that show that I did. So I would drill my song on guitar a few times, and then I would go to the piano and like rehearse my piano piece. And that music kind of got me into the mindset of the show in general.
Yeah, I find myself in a very similar boat. Music is definitely very important for me. I always start with a very similar, if not the same, physical warm-up, and it is very influenced by the dancing I did in high school, where it's, you know, it focuses a little more on flexibility than maybe is necessary for most theater performances I do. However, for me personally, because it has that history in my head of getting ready to be physically engaged and getting ready to perform, even though it might not be specifically necessary for the actual physical work I'm doing, it makes me feel mentally ready, and it grounds me in a way that I don't know if another physical warm-up would do as well. Do some vocal warm-up, get the girl going. But for getting into character, one is definitely music. When I played Calpurnia in Julius Caesar, my lovely Caesar was a woman, Maggie Tavares, love her to bits. And so we were lesbian dictators, and it was great. So something that I did, because I had to get into this emotional headspace halfway through the show of like, I've lost this person important to me. The most important person in the world is gone. Like, I want revenge, and I'm not much of a vengeful, angry person myself. So what I listened to was a lot of like Rio Romeo music, sad lesbian music. And that really helped me ground me in her reality and in the hurt that fuels her anger. So yeah, finding
Rio
specific
Romeo
music.
is so Calpurnia.
Right? That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, finding music that engages specifically with the emotional state of the character really helps me get into it. And in addition to that, also ditto to Jasmine with walking like the character, finding my characters walk and just strolling around and like practicing the way they move and exist in the space is really helpful for me. But I think the most important thing for me getting into character is finding trigger phrases. What words, what sentences help me personally, like how do I connect with this character's emotions? So for Calpurnia, as someone who's not particularly angry, the only time I really get angry is when I'm feeling protective of someone else, which worked really well for Calpurnia, wanting to protect Caesar, not being able to. So before scenes where I needed to discover my wife is dead, I would be running back and forth in the little hallway backstage, and I'd be like muttering to myself, like, I need to save her. I need to get to her. What if she's dead? No, she can't be dead. She can't be dead. Like, I need to save her. And I would just repeat those things to connect with my own protective instinct, thus connecting me to Calpurnia's protective instinct. Compare that to Devised, where I would warm up to whatever music I felt like, just having fun. I honestly, because Devised was so joyful, a big part of it was just having fun.
I saw Jasmine and Cameron had things to say.
Mine is so quick. I was just gonna say, I am similar, and something David Matheson, our wonderful Shakespeare and camera coach, taught me right before a Caesar rehearsal. He was my director for Caesar, or sorry, right before a show. He was like, "It's just a play, so play," and that sentence, small but mighty, has stuck with
It's
me,
so
and I repeat
real.
it.
I'm stealing that from him and you. Thank you.
For me, that was my main struggle the entire year, was worrying about the aesthetic of it. For some reason, I totally forgot about the joy of like just swimming in the lines and like experiencing everything. I would like sometimes make it a goal of, oh, okay, at this point in the script, I want to cry. And so then like if I was doing the scene and I was at that point and I wasn't crying, I would suddenly be like, all right, what's going on? And like no longer be in it anymore, just worried about the fact that I don't look sad as I wanted to look. which is not the point. And I found that lots of times when you just stopped like setting those kinds of goals, like obviously character goals and things like that to help you drive yourself through the scene, like that's beautiful. You should always do that. But like setting goals of like, I want to cry by this thing, or this is how I want to like stand and stuff, but like this is how I want to react, rather than like, oh, this is just how I reacted and how I took it in. Like I find that really important. I like it really helped just to like let go of that stuff, because then I was able to find more things about my acting, things that were funny, things that were sad, and I was also able to ironically reach those goals faster when I stopped thinking about them, because they came more naturally and I was putting less pressure on myself. Like Jasmine was saying, it's a play. It's not like the end of the world if you do not reach this, like if you're not screaming at the top of your lungs by that line or something like that, because maybe that's just not what's going on that time. Like, because it's different every time. And yeah, so just like not setting aesthetic like expectations for how you want it to look throughout the scene, I think is a big lesson that I had to learn as well.
My last question, my friends, we are coming up to the end of our interview. We have had such a lovely discussion. We're moving into our rapid fire section right now. Our first question is, one thing you'd bring with you on a desert island. Go.
Oh, book. The House of Leaves book.
My guitar.
An infinite lighter, those ones that don't need fuel and just keep working.
Those are cool. Oh, those are good answers.
Practical.
Practical. I would bring a Rubik's Cube, so I'm not as useful. Anyways, what is your favorite movie?
Patch Adams. Or anything with Robin Williams.
Alvin and the Chipmunks, Chipwrecked. It's a classic.
If we're talking animated, I'm gonna go Mutant Mayhem. If we're talking live action, I'm gonna say Hereditary.
Oh, I love Hereditary.
Oh, good choices. Okay, and our final question. As always, viewers, you've seen this one coming. What are you looking forward to most in fourth year?
The main stage shows, I'm just so excited for all of them, but I'm really excited for the silliness of Three Penny Opera.
I am most excited to perform on stage and just for like another year with my friends, not just in our year, but like with your year and the incoming second years and the incoming first years. I'm just excited to be with everyone.
I'm really excited to get my degree and my diploma. But I'm also very excited. Yeah, I'm very excited for the shows. I'm very excited to see like just the direction all of them take. I feel like there's so many ways you could stage a production of any of these shows, and I feel like I'm so excited to see what the directors are looking for and what the designs of the shows are going to look like. I love all the different aspects of theater, so I can't decide to see. I've got a little dramaturgy brain. I can't wait to see what dramaturgical choices they make. Also, so excited to meet the first years.
I was just about to say that.
If you're watching this, please follow my Instagram and reach out, because I'm so excited to meet you. And if you have if you have any questions, reach out. We love you guys and we want to support you guys.
We're very excited to meet you. It's gonna be so
exciting. We're nothing without them. They make this. They help with the costumes, the props, the everything. They're gonna make us look good too.
Listen, when we were in first year, our fourth years treated us like gold, and it is very much our responsibility to pay it forward and welcome the new first years with love and kindness and joy and friendship and happiness.
This has been such an excellent interview. Thank you guys so much for joining us and for giving us your time and answering our questions for our lovely viewers. To our friends at home that are watching this, make sure if you want to see these actors at work, like I said last episode, make sure you keep an eye out for tickets and information about the 2024-25 Theatre Erindale season, the main stage season, which is when you will see all of these lovely actors at work.
Yeah.
Thank you guys all so much for joining us. You guys have a lovely night.
Thank you.
Bye,
Nailed
Cookie.
it.